We are at our top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for sticking around. Hopefully it's all been worth it. Now, let's get to number 5. Prisoners, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorites. And the one and only Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. Oh, that beard, man. My favorite film by Denis Villeneuve, which definitely solidifies him as, in my opinion, probably the best director in this decade. Like, yes, we have like Christopher Nolan, so I'm not going to count him out. This guy, man, his career is amazing. Prisoners is about a man played by Hugh Jackman whose daughter ends up going missing, abducted most likely. It's just this really contained thriller about what a father will do to rescue and save his kids, no matter the cost. Jake Gyllenhaal plays as Detective Loki. Don't know if that was inspired from Marvel movies, where he's also trying to help find the daughter, but he himself is getting all wrapped up in the mystery of it because there seems to be like some clues that this might all be connected to these kids disappearing, and it sounds like this recent abduction is part of it. And I don't have kids that I can't really think of, but makes me quite frightened about the idea of this happening and how anybody deals with it is not a laughing matter. Anybody who goes through it obviously deals with it in their own way, but this is like a really, like, you're seeing this man deteriorate. He's in his mind, he's doing the right thing because he thinks like the police aren't doing enough, so he's got to take in his own fate, find his daughter himself. Does some messed up things when he finds a man that he thinks did it, and battling his inner demons. I watched this with my brother a while back, and it definitely, I can tell, probably disturbed him because, well, probably more so than me personally, but because it makes you question, does the ends justify the means? Like, does this villainize the man, or do you see where he's coming from? Because honestly, sometimes the action he does are quite a bit irredeemable, but you do see where he's coming from, but it's just a matter of like, okay man, you're going too far, stop it. And there's this one scene where he's interacting with the man that he thinks abducted or kidnapped his daughter that involves a hammer that it's like directly he's kind of like going after the guy, but he has like the guy pinned down. And man, we were both like on our edge of our seat because it looked like that was going to hit his hand, I think. Like, how did it not make contact? We don't know. But that does show he is a good actor because he managed not to break the guy's hand. Not trying to spoil anything, but this is a thriller, so obviously you're going to get moments like that. But my brother hated the ending. I love the ending. It is an ending that you might sit there and think like, wait, what? But the answers are in there. If you just look for it, you'll find it. For number 4, Whiplash, starring Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. The story is simple enough. It's about a drummer that goes to a jazz art college, and he ends up going to the class of this, basically a drill sergeant, J.K. Simmons' character. And the guy is intimidating, but once somebody does something he doesn't like the famous, not my tempo, you see that there's more tension. The next thing you know, a desk is thrown across the room. The guy ends up screaming. It's getting all intense. At some point, the main character has like a single tear coming off his face, and the guy's like, "Is that a single tear I see?" And then just totally berates the guy, and it's like, dude, you're insane! And that's why he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. His character does get compared a lot to that one drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, released in the 80s. Like, basically, they're both really intimidating, but there's like super, super memorable, and you do have to admit, they make the movie. Miles Teller, he is the lead actor, but J.K. Simmons, that guy, he is such an incredibly nice, humble man from how I see him in interviews, but This is just like totally like definition of going into character and staying in it. And it does lead to many great scenes based off of their dynamic chemistry, performances, intensity, because I think his hands really does start playing at one point. And kind of like, how far will you go to be the best? I love this movie, Whiplash, definitely a modern day classic. And now on to number 3, Birdman, which I have fortunately got to watch with my friend Mark and my brother, and watch this back to back with Whiplash. Obviously, out of the two, their favorite was Whiplash, and out of the two, my favorite was Birdman. I just want to be open with you guys. It's 11:30. I'm about done. I just want to talk about movies, record on 4K, and now I used up all my gigabytes. Now I'm recording on my iPod Touch. I want to go to bed. So this film is primarily known for one thing: made to look like it was shot in one continuous take. But an easy eye can see where the edits are in, because obviously when you have like a night to morning transition, it's obvious. But this film famously won Best Picture at the Oscars in 2014, or 2015, and definitely revived Michael Keaton's career, and for good reasons. He used to be like a famous actor in the 90s as a superhero, Michael Keaton being like Batman, but in this one it's Birdman. And that sort of relates to his character in the movie, as his character who is trying to start a play of this not well known play. This could be like his one shot at redemption. The play could be a success, but just so many problems are going on with it. One of the lead stars in the film is kind of like trying to sabotage the film. It's trying to sabotage the lead act, but one of the co-stars that's but Edward Norton's character, who's more like a hard to work with type of actor in the movie, he tends to sabotage the production for whatever eccentric reasons. And there's a pretty funny scene with him and Michael Keaton tussling around in his underwear. This is a comedy, but it does have many critiques of Hollywood, like critiquing with no substance and wrestling with the idea of relevance. And is this all just to fill up your ego to make you feel like you're still relevant? This movie is not for everybody. Like I said, I've shown this to my friend Mark, and let's just say these are the type of movies that he doesn't want to see, which is okay, because he can still get a type of emotional connection with a more straightforward movie, because this movie is kind of bonkers and maybe a bit too artsy-fartsy for people's tastes, but it did win Best Picture for a reason. If you're a movie buff, avid movie watcher, or want to know about the process of movie making, editing, this has all of it. I can see this inspiring people to know how to edit. This has like a clever way of editing, just like how a play is structured. Like there's no time for the actors to stop. If you make a mistake, you just gotta roll with it. So there was plenty of times where they did have to stop filming because like an actor messed up their lines, and they gotta do like these 10-minute long takes all over again. But eventually they all got in the groove of it.
How did we end up here? This place is terrible. Smells like balls.
Actual opener to the movie when they get done with the whole dream sequence at the beginning. But yep, check it out. Alright, now we are at the final two, ladies and gentlemen. I love both these films equally. Well, maybe I can preference like the subject matters for these two films because they're a little bit similar, but like completely different. They both deal with religion, except one is essentially based around a cult. The other one is more of a organized religion. both directed by what are considered the greatest living directors of our time. And so I'm going to say for my number 2 will probably be Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This is probably, in my opinion, the best acted movie of this decade. Amy Adams, love her to death. Philip Seymour Hoffman, God bless his soul. And the one and only Joaquin Phoenix, the best performance of the decade. And it's not really much he's playing like a character that you can see in like pop culture, like the Joker. He plays as a deeply psychological, messed up individual, obviously suffering probably from PTSD after serving in World War II. He's basically a lost soul trying to find meaning while also giving in to his urges or whatever problems he had just completely went from like 10 to 100. Like some of the stuff Joaquin does is insane. And eventually his drunken path leads him to Philip Seymour Hoffman's character known as Master Dodd, where he owns this yacht and he's the leader of this self-help group known as The Cause. And he ends up persuading Joaquin's character Freddy into at least joining them or see if maybe they can help him out. Kind of like with the idea like, if we can't help him out, then it is we that have failed him. And it ends up turning into like this pretty charming relationship between Dodd and Freddy. And eventually this group, The Cause, turns more into just like a self-help therapy session. And it looks like it's heading towards a cult. Now, if you know anything about cults, specifically certain ones like Scientology or Jehovah's Witnesses, they're anti-internet. I don't know if it's still true today, but I know that they're against going on the internet and also going like for a higher education because they're probably afraid that their members will find stuff on the internet and think to themselves, I think I'm in a cult. And Amy Adams' character plays as Don's wife. And sounds like as the film goes on, she has a bit of a hand in how this whole group works. Probably the most famous scene in the movie is the processing scene between Dodd and Freddy, where Dodd is asking him some questions, is like trying to get him into a state where he can, I guess, be like free of trauma. Maybe get to the bottom of like what's causing him trauma. It's like ask him a question, repeat the question, to maybe where Freddy might say a truth, reveal some really messed up stuff in his past, and all the while with a proviso that Joaquin doesn't blink, and if he blinks, he has to start over. So it's also pressure putting on the actual actor to not like break character or blink, while all these really deeply personal questions are being thrown at him, and just all these changes of emotion as it keeps going on towards the end. It's just like finally like, this guy's about to lose it till ultimately he just tells him, okay, you can close your eyes now. Probably one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life. Great acting at its finest. Again, I showed this one to my brother, and obviously he didn't like it. So this is not a film for everybody, because there's like some WTF moments, which is very ambiguous. Like, is this all in his head or what's going on? So this is like a very so this is more like a art house type of movie where you might feel not like too emotionally satisfied, but as you pick out the layers of it and what's this story really about, still enjoy it despite not really knowing, wait, what did I just watch? You at least see some great acting from Joaquin Phoenix. Honestly, in my opinion,